Green Arrow issue 22 we're looking at today. So yeah, last issue, Oliver got attacked by one of the freshwater killers, and we pick up with that here. Although we do start, as we have with all these issues, with the sort of flashback. This one being clearly the grown-up version of the kid who's been in a lot of these flashback stories. And seemingly he is the ringleader who started momentum on getting all these victims together to do something about what happened to them. He shows the original commercial that their families all saw back in the day to move to this town. Like, hey, this is a new affordable housing community near Star City. Come and live here. Freshwater. And then he talks about how, yeah, I was diagnosed with this, this thing when I was a kid, and you've all had different issues. And yeah, they wrote a check to everyone to pay us all off, like pay everyone's families off for like what they did, but like I didn't see any fancy cars outside at this meeting. I didn't see any like Rolex watches on anyone in here. Everyone just had to use that money to pay off like numerous hospital bills, and like it's not improved anyone's life as a result. So it's not about just getting money compensation for what happened to us. So it's clearly building up to this idea of like we're all going to become the freshwater killer. You assume so anyway, but you see that one woman who we already saw as one of the killers is in the audience at this thing. Yep. So this presumably is recently, in the timeline. This is maybe just a couple months ago or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the thing that they want justice, right? Like, yeah, they wrote the check, but nothing was made right, and we can do that. And yeah, he definitely has this kind of, not a mad look in his eye, but definitely a determined look.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him. Like, we see him go after these people, and we understand why, but it's still, I like that it's building a conflict between him and Oliver about doing what's right. But when you've lost everything, what is right? Because he talks about his mom died of breast cancer. So now, that's another thing that might have been attributed to this. And it completely ruined their lives based off of people
almost certainly
lying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the only obviously the art in this book's been fantastic. It still is here. There's just one little nitpick I'll have on like the second page. Is there's one panel that's looking sort of at him speaking through like the window at the door, and I feel like the head on him just looks very different to every other panel in this scene.
Yeah,
that almost looks like a different person. He looks much younger in this like side shot, and I don't think he's meant to be. I think it's just like it is just a sort of maybe a flub's a harsh word, but it does just feel like a bit of a flub versus everything else. So yeah, regardless of that though, everything looks great. Like you say, the expressions and his determination, and then them all being convinced and getting teary-eyed is very good. But Oliver does the whole "I'm a dumb rich man" routine to the cops because they're arresting this freshwater killer that attacked him, and he's like, "Freshwater? What's that? Killings? What's going on? Me.
Yeah.
I've got
the freshwater. What's it?
Yeah, I've got rich things to go do." And the detective walks off, calling him a rich piece of shit or whatever. So it's just a fun little sequence. But he does get like, hey, where's the primary detective? You say I have to talk to her. Where's she? And for some reason, like maybe this is a little far-fetched, the detective is like, oh, she's investigating the town of Freshwater, if you really have to know. It does feel like maybe a little bit of a stretch that he would actually offer that information up, but
yeah,
I feel like he could have gotten that information some other way. But hey, this gives Oliver his mission here. So he goes to his bike, and we get a great several pages of silence of him putting his goggles on, his hood up, driving in his motorbike through the rain. All looks really good. We see her, the detective at Freshwater with her dog, looking through. And again, a lot of this is fairly quiet. And she gets basically the creepy horror movie treatment here of like all these people in the gas mask showing up with the red eyes, all kind of like showing in the silhouettes. Really, really cool.
All wearing the same jacket, so they must have got that at a, on discount. Because they're all wearing them. But no, it's very Children of the Corn, and just even the shot, the way that Montos draws in the bottom of that page, where she's lit up by the one street lamp. Right? And so we see the light, and then she's surrounded by them coming out of the darkness. Like, and then she sicks the dog on one of them, but then like one of them punches the dog, and it goes flying backwards. And I actually thought the silhouette at the bottom of that page,
I wasn't sure if they were continuously beating the dog up, as if they were like just like mob justice on a dog.
What
And I
thought too.
this is dark. And then I was like, oh no, I think it's her they're beating up, which it isn't much better, but like they felt really harsh when it was the dog. So
yeah,
and you know, cut to Oliver speeding in the rain on his motorbike. All that art looked great. He does get to the town, and he's kind of like looking through. The dog does stumble up, and he looks a little bit bloody and beaten, but he is okay. So they didn't wait too long to tell you the dog's not in too bad shape. The dog's okay.
Yeah,
but Oliver's
I felt bad.
Yeah, on you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt bad being more worried about the dog than the detective. So I was like, oh man, I hope the dog's okay. Forgetting like the detective was there too.
I think it's because you know she's probably going to be okay, whereas the dog might be the red shirt to sell you how dark this is. But you even hear them bickering with each other, like, oh, you didn't have to hit the dog. It's like, it was me or him. So clearly there's some infighting about how they treated the dog amongst themselves. But she like wakes up and they're like dragging her into a building, and she's kind of hazy, obviously. Oliver's looking around the empty streets, and this is where it does the slow like the titles where it's like DC Comics presents, Chris Condon and Montos, and he's looking around and he gets an idea, so he fires some arrows up like a street light or an electrical pole, and he climbs them like a ladder so that he can look across in the distance, and he sees the one building that's got lights on, and he's like, oh, there it is. I found where she's going to be. And they said something to her as well as they were dragging her about, oh, we're taking you to the place where you need to learn a lesson. You're going to school. So they're in the town school building, presumably. So, yeah. It's
so creepy. And we all know these are just regular people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it makes it even more effective the way that they're talking here. It's like, oh, we're taking you to school. You need to learn a lesson. And you're just like, oh, man. And yeah, despite being so human, they're lacking humanity in these last couple pages.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing that stuck out to me the most about this is how creepy like the town is, and how like them becoming this boogeyman group of the town is how effective it is. Both in them like jumping out at her and attacking her, but also just like the eeriness of how quiet it is when Oliver gets there. And this idea that okay, this one building's lit up, so he's got the location, so that's what we presumably are going to start next issue with. Aside from the flashback, because they've all started with flashbacks, so I assume we'll do that again next time as well. But the atmosphere is kind of the big thing here more than anything. Obviously, the flashback here, is filling in some blanks, really setting up that this kid that we've been focusing on is kind of important to the overall thing. He's not just one example; he is the example that leads to all this. But the atmosphere of the town and the creepy vibes are off the charts, and that's the kind of the big winner here for me.
I like how he goes in, as he goes into town, there's that big sign that says the Freshwater Environmental Cleanup Area, do not enter, right? So, they put that up after the fact, and then he goes past the school that this started at. That was like the first panel.
Yeah, it makes me think of
introduced to in the story.
In Chernobyl, when they hear that like literally like other countries like France and Italy are pulling people off the streets in case the cloud like comes by and like carries some of this harmful radiation, and then like Stellan Skarsgård looks out the window at Chernobyl and sees children running around, and it's like, maybe we should have evacuated this area already. This is a little bit like just the negligence is so extreme, it's unreal. So horrific, you might say. The art is gorgeous. I mean, we keep saying this every issue, but Montos is just killing it. Like
Montos.
If anything, like the scene of Oliver talking to the detective and acting all goofy, like I don't know what's going on, I'm a dumb billionaire. Like that is like probably the weakest part of the book, just because it's the part of the book where it's not just laying on the it's not that it looks bad, it looks great. You've got the police lights kind of lighting the scene up, so there's a nice playing of colors there, which is really cool. But you do have that one contrivance, like the way the detective just offered up where she's investigating did feel a little bit like oh, that's just to make things easy. Like, that doesn't feel like something that a detective would really do. Like, where's your partner? Well, she's over here doing this. No, like that doesn't make any sense.
I feel like in the real world, they'd be like, "Why do you want to know? What's it to you?" type stuff. That said, I do love the bottom panel where he says, can't say the same for him. He caught me on leg day. Fists were jonesing for a workout. And the way that Montos draws him just looking like a total goober.
Yeah, and the
just
detective's reaction as well, where he just sort of is rolling his eyes, like, is this guy being serious? Like,
yeah, sure, yeah. So, real good stuff. I'm surprised that we didn't get to this story sooner. Like, it's taken us this long, you know, because this is really good.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. The pacing's incredible. And I think even the cliffhangers get a kind of creepy vibe to it. It's like, oh, is he going to get there in time? No, I think he is. But it does make me wonder, like, just how cult-like this group have formed. And it is interesting because, like, we can sympathize with what happened to them. What happened to them was wrong. It was, monstrous. But they are acting like absolute psychopaths right now. This feels like this is beyond just vigilante justice. This is like creepy horror movie cult shit.
Well, like, even if they kill all the people that had to deal with this, that's not going to make anything better. Like, it's not going to bring any of the stuff. It's not going to give them what they need to heal themselves. Right? So at a point, then it just becomes about vengeance and not justice. You know, and I feel like it originally started as this thing for justice. So I wonder if we get into that it's even corrupted, you know, what they had done. It's even corrupted that.
I also think we're already getting a taste with the dog conversation that, like, not every member is necessarily as extreme as each other. There's maybe a little bit of a gradient of, like, how in deep some of them are, even though they're all party to this. So I wonder if we explore that a little bit in the coming issues. But it's good stuff. Matt, what are you giving Green Arrow 22?
I'm gonna say 9.
I think I'm going to go 8.5. I think it's close to the 9. Just that contrivance in the and that one scene maybe is the only thing kind of holding it down just a touch. But the vibes are excellent. So no, really good stuff.